Jennifer. So welcome everyone. It's great. I can't see you, unfortunately, but I hope that the 16 little hats that I see on the bottom of my screen are the real people behind the screen. I would love to see you in person, but unfortunately it's not possible today, but it's great to connect with you. I'm based in Luxembourg, so it's far away from the US, and it's actually almost 9 p.m. now. So I had a really busy day, but I hope it will be really nice and exciting journey that I will take you on. My name is Martyna Adamska, and as Jennifer said, I will be talking about the 7 types of rest that everybody needs. But before I jump in directly to the topic, I would like to ask you a question. Let me share my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Confucius once said, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. My question is, because I'm sure that lots of you have heard this quote before, and my question to you is whether you agree or disagree with this statement. And you can say yes or no in the chat, or you can say disagree, agree. Maybe you want to give even some argumentation why you agree or why you disagree. I'm interested in your opinion.
Wow, we did get a quick disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Another disagree. Wow. Several disagrees. No matter how much you love something, there will always be off days.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And Suzanne says, I think when the thing you love becomes work, it can actually take away the initial love you had for it.
I really love some of these answers.
Yeah.
If I had known it before. So
Hmm.
thank you so much. We have to move on because the time is running. And of course, this expression doesn't mean that you will never work a day in your life. It implies that it adds value and meaning to your life. Or when you love your work, it feels like a choice rather than a burden, right? But what if I tell you that this is one of the most dangerous quotes and one of the biggest misconceptions that I believed in the beginning of my professional career? And let me share with you my story and hopefully prove that this concept really messed up in my life. So in 2006, when I started my professional career, I graduated the postgraduate studies at the Faculty of Psychology at the University of Warsaw, Poland, because originally I come from Poland. And on the last day of my studies, one of the professors asked us, so what are your plans? What would you like to do next after graduation? And most of my colleagues already knew. They said, I want to be a clinical psychologist, or I want to work with families, or I want to work with couples or with kids. And I wasn't sure. I had lots of ideas. I always have a lot of ideas, but it's difficult for me to choose. So he came to me and he said, why don't you draw a picture and try to describe to me what would be your ideal work setting? I'm a terrible drawer, so it wasn't an easy task for me. But what I did is I drew a group of people, me standing in the middle of them with a big ball in my hands. And the ball was orange, very energizing color. And inside the ball, it was my energy, my passion, my experience, my knowledge. And I was throwing this ball to the people, and people were throwing this ball full of their energy, their passion, and their experience back to me. And this is the moment when I had tears in my eyes because I understood that I want to become a group therapist or a trainer. And this is how my career started. I started to work as a trainer. I worked at a university. I worked in business. And finally, I decided to move to Luxembourg because my husband got a job here. So we moved to Luxembourg and I got a job at Big Four. And in Big Four, I got a job in learning and development department. Obviously, that's why I'm here. And it was an amazing place to be. I mean, there were 77 nationalities working in one building. 77 nationalities, ocean of possibilities, ocean of projects, inspiring team, great manager, but also an ocean of workload. So I started to do my best. You know how it is in the beginning of your professional career. You want to do more and more and more, and you want to prove to the world that you are doing your best, you are putting all your energy in. But 2 years ago, the world pandemic started. We had to convert all our trainings into virtual ones. I think most of you know what I'm talking about, right? We as L&D were engaged in every single project in the company. We also volunteered to do more because we wanted to support our colleagues who suffered from loneliness, from anxiety, from stress, because they worked on the business side. We thought that they were even more exposed. So what we did is we opened a helpline, and the helpline was opened not only during weekdays, but also late night hours and the weekends. So what I did is during a day, I delivered trainings. Sometimes it was 5 trainings per week. I delivered executive coaching for the employees, where I was also meeting people with different issues, different problems, also suffering. At the same time, I had my night shift at the helpline, but I'm also a mom. So I had to manage 2 little kids with their homeschooling issues. So I was all the parents who are in the group, I think they also know what I'm talking about. I had to print out hundreds of pages because the teachers didn't know how to manage it. And here in Luxembourg, the kids are taught in 3 languages simultaneously. So it's Luxembourgish, French, and German. And I only speak French. So it was a huge challenge for me as well to basically manage the homeschooling and help the kids with the learning process. So a full-time job at Big Four, helpline at nights, and managing my kids. And one day I realized that I started having some serious sleeping disorders. But then again, I thought, it will soon be over. It's just few months, couple of months, and then everything will be back to normal. So I started taking some pills, and pills helped. And one day, when I was delivering a training, I realized it was, of course, a virtual training. I realized that I'm still throwing this ball to them. I'm throwing this ball full of energy, passion, knowledge, and experience. I throw it to the screen and people don't catch it anymore because they all suffer from the Zoom fatigue. And basically, they are busy answering their emails. They don't even listen to what I'm talking about. It feels like broadcasting, but there's no exchange of energy anymore. And this is the moment when I was diagnosed with something which is called the empathy fatigue. I've never heard this expression before. But according to Dr. Albers from Cleveland University Clinic, empathy fatigue is the emotional and physical exhaustion that happens from caring for people day after day after day. It's like a constant drip of cortisol that goes to our brain, and we can only do that for so long until our body and mind start to break down. It's a defense mechanism. It's your body's way of telling you to pay attention and to take a step back to care for yourself. And it's quite interesting because in the past, empathy fatigue mainly impacted healthcare. So doctors, nurses, and all of the people who are in the front line, like soldiers, firefighters. But I've never heard about people working in HR and L&D to suffer from such a disease. And actually, my empathy fatigue was a burnout as well. So I had serious burnout symptoms, sleeping disorders, eating disorders, feeling unhappy, feeling very down. And I basically felt I had this very strange feeling like as if someone put a helmet on my brain and this helmet was shrinking and I simply couldn't focus anymore. So I went to see a doctor and he confirmed the diagnosis and he sent me on a sick leave for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I felt even worse. It was not enough to me. So then I was sent for another 6 weeks of a sick leave. And after 8 weeks, I slowly started to come back to work. But there was one lesson learned from this experience, because I'm not sharing this very difficult experience with you because I love talking about myself. I'm sharing this story because I learned something very practical, which helped me release the stress, but which also helped me to go through this difficult experience. I learned about it from a psychologist, and it's called the 7 types of rest that every person needs. And this is what I would like to share with you, because I believe that people who work in HR, in L&D, coaches, trainers, you are as exposed to empathy fatigue as I was, because most of you are also extremely passionate about your jobs. And I can't believe that someone can work with the people in HR department or L&D department without loving the learning and people and the whole concept of helping others. So, are there any questions at this stage, or can we move on? Jennifer?
Yep. Just takes me a minute to
Are
come
there
back
any
back on
questions?
the stage. I don't see any
Okay.
questions at this time, so we're good to
Okay,
go.
great. We can go. Thank you. So,
Hmm.
according to Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith, rest should equal restoration in 7 key areas of your life. And another question to you guys is, have you ever experienced coming back from holidays after 1 week of vacation, or coming back to work after a long weekend, and after one day feeling exactly the same tiredness, the same feeling of exhaustion as before leaving on holidays? Have you ever experienced it? If the answer is yes, this is because we don't know how to rest. Even though we go on holidays, we are still overstimulating our brain, and we have to learn and we have to look at different aspects and different dimensions of the rest. The first type of rest that I would like to talk about is physical rest. When people talk about well-being, they often think about being physically active, doing physical exercise, working out. But this is not truth, because when we are extremely tired, your body is not able to exercise anymore. You need some rest. You don't need to move fast, or because this can even be dangerous for your body. So when it comes to physical rest, we speak here about passive or active rest. Passive physical rest includes sleeping and napping, while active physical rest means restorative activities such as stretching, yoga, and massage therapy that can improve your body's circulation and flexibility. So, this is the physical rest, not necessarily working out. The second type of rest is a mental rest. And this is a funny one because um, we think that if we watch a movie after a busy day at work, or if we read a book, we will get relaxed. Well, this is only partly true. It's not 100% true because we need to choose something light. We need to let our brain rest also during a day. So, what can we do to provide some mental rest for our body? We can take short breaks during a day. We can go for a short walk in a lunch break without any electronical devices, so not being on the phone. And also, don't be afraid to watch a stupid comedy, a light film. I'm talking about it. It's kind of funny, but I come from Eastern Europe, and for us, good film means a drama, and good film is never a comedy. It has to be something very dark and preferably about the war. So either the Second World War or the war in the Balkans. This is a heavy, good film. It's never a comedy. And actually, our brain needs some light stuff as well. So sometimes don't feel ashamed. Don't blame yourself for guilty pleasures. You can watch Sex in a City. It's absolutely fine. As long as you feel relaxed afterwards. You don't need to be always reading something super ambitious because your brain is overstimulated after a day of work. The third type of rest, the most difficult one nowadays, is a sensory rest. Bright lights, computer screens, iPhones in your bedroom, background noises, multiple conversations. Uh, it doesn't matter if you work in the office or you work at home, there's always this blue light coming from a screen around you. And it's putting your brain in the alert state, which means that even if you are scrolling messages before going to bed, it would be much more difficult for you to fall asleep, and it will be much more difficult for you to go into the deep phase of sleep. So it's very important that you actually replace the traditional, the iPhone with the traditional alarm clock next to your bed if possible, without having this blue light constantly in front of your eyes. And this is a real sensory rest. My favorite one, creative rest. This is something which is absolutely amazing, and this is my favorite one. I was trying to prepare to this speech tonight while walking in the park, and then I said, you know what, I prefer actually to improvise tonight, but just to contemplate the nature. So if I'm telling you nonsense, it's because I was contemplating nature, but I guess I needed it at that stage. So basically, what do I mean by creative rest? This type of rest is especially important for anyone who must brainstorm new ideas or solve difficult problems. Creative rest is it can be either contemplating nature. It doesn't need to be Niagara Falls. It can be also the forest, which is next to your house, the park, your backyard. It can be also contemplating art, because both beauties, I mean, coming from the nature or coming from the pieces of art, they inspire you. They allow you to refocus. Um, but it's not only about appreciation of what somebody else has done. You can also make the art by yourself. And how making art helps your brain, and how does it help to reduce the level of stress? Well, it helps you imagine a more hopeful future. It lowers the stress level. It activates the reward center of our brain, which is extremely important. It lets you focus deeply. It clears your head. So basically, it's really worth to try making something by yourself. And it doesn't really matter if you're a great painter or if you are just trying and you will then put it in your drawer. You can do something out of clay, you can try the sculpture, you can sing, you can draw, you can paint. It's really just the process of doing it that lowers your stress level, and it helps you refocus, which is absolutely amazing. The fifth type of rest that I would like to talk about is called the emotional rest, which means having the time and space to freely express your emotions, your feelings, and to cut back on people pleasing. So basically, it's all about you and your emotions. Do you have people around you at work, in your family, where you can be authentic, you can be truly yourself? You can really share. If someone is asking you, how are you doing, are you um, can you be honest and say, well, today I'm actually not having a good day, and explain why? Or do you always have to smile, and do you always have to fake it? And the fifth type of rest is very much linked with the sixth one, which is called the social rest. And the social rest, um, it's about the relationships and the people that surround you. So basically, do you have true friends around you? Do you have people that will pull you up when you are feeling down? Do you have true friends? Do you have people that make you feel good? You know, there is this saying that show me your friends, and I will tell you where you will be in the next 10 years. And this is exactly what it is. If you have negative people around you, and they always complain, they always gossip, they are always unhappy, um, well, I'm not surprised if you feel grumpy and sad and upset, because this is the whole energy. I spoke about this exchange of this orange ball, and this is actually a black ball that can hit you in your head, you know? So think about the people that surround you, how positive they are, how motivating and inspiring they are. And the last one, last but not least, a very important one, which is called spiritual rest, which is the ability to connect beyond the physical and mental, and feel a deep sense of belonging, a deep sense of purpose, love, acceptance in your life. To receive this, you need to engage in something greater. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a religion. It can also be meditation. It can be community. It can be, you can volunteer. For example, I volunteer. I work for a big film festival because I love culture. So I do it for free, but I actually receive more than I give. It's always like that. Whenever you volunteer to do something for the community or for the society, you always receive more than you put in. So it's super important to also find the time to do something for yourself, but also for the community, to find this deeper sense of purpose. So, to finish up, because we have 5 minutes left, and I'm still hoping that maybe there will be some questions. If you can't remember those 7 types of rest, because it was quite quick and a lot of knowledge given at once, what I want you to remember from this session are 3 easy letters: A, B, and C. A, B, C. A for awareness, B for balance, and C for connection. Awareness, it's important that you acknowledge how you are feeling at the moment and to show yourself some self compassion. B for the feeling of balance. How much balance do you find in your life? How much balance between the negative news coming from TV or from the internet and the positive people around you? And C for connection, connection with people, but also true connection with yourself and with your real needs. So thank you very much. That was it from me, from my side. I will stop presenting now. And if you have any questions or any comments, I would be more than happy to hear from you. And sorry for my accent. I know that my English is not perfect, but I'm not a native speaker, as you can hear. Okay.
I think you did wonderful. And I loved everything that you talked about, and especially the ABC. That is a perfect way to just end and to put it
Okay.
all together. Yeah.
Okay,
Super.
I can see some comments finally.
Yeah.
Super. Okay, I love watching comedies every night. Great. Never enough laughter. Give me more. And okay, Hallmark Channel. My brain is overstimulated often. I think all of our brains are, believe me. I mean, the brain hasn't changed at all since the last, I don't know, 1,000 years or even more. And imagine how much more it has to transfer. Every second we are being bombarded with the news, with the stimulations, with the lights, with the noises. It's incredible. So I'm not surprised that there are so many people with serious issues right now. I mean, with burnouts, with depressions, with different symptoms, because I think our brains are not ready for it. So we need to actually find the ways to to rest, to just relieve this level of stress. Volunteering has been so gratifying. It is absolutely. Any questions, guys? Do you have any um, questions, comments? Yes, massage is great, Jennifer.
Thanks for your permission.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love that. But and Dana mentioned providing the language around empathy fatigue. I did not know that it was a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible, isn't it?
it is.
It's,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah. And I think at least in Big Four, where I used to work, because now I'm independent, but when I worked in Big Four, there was also this belief that only people working on a business side can have a burnout. People working in HR, come on, they are on holidays.
Yeah.
How can you compare the work of people from business with the workload of people working on the HR side? And this
Mm.
is such a nonsense. This is such a
Yeah,
nonsense because we also work hard, right?
we do.
We do,
So
absolutely.
I'm
Okay.
going to, as we're closing out, I'm going to just type in chat um, the link to we have a feedback form, and I kept forgetting that earlier today. So I wanted to make sure that I put that in today. But Martina, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time and sharing of your learnings and your personal journey with all of this. So I appreciate you doing all that. And thanks everybody for being here. So we'll go ahead and close out so everybody can get to their next stop today.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
guys. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Take care.